is 6:01 on November 13th. I call this meeting of the Clear Creek Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called, that its notice has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Our first item on the agenda is closed session. And so at 6:02, the board will now move to closed session as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, concerning purposes permitted by the act, including 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, 551.074, deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignments, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an employee. 7:05, and I call this meeting back into open session. The next item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance and Texas Pledge.
And I have some Bowerslag friends that are going to help me with this. Wonderful. Okay, who wants to take the lead on this? We'll all do it together, okay? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, so we have some special pledge sayers from Bowerslag. And some talk about the KBAU. What is that?
It's our what we call the morning announcements.
The morning announcements. And what types of announcements do you share?
We do the Texas Pledge. We have these jobs like teleprompter, which moves the scripts, the editor, the fact checker for the scripts.
Great. So what is your favorite job?
My favorite job would probably be news anchor because we get to tell everyone like what's the block day. And
my favorite would probably be fact checker because you get to like edit the scripts and make sure everything's correct. My favorite is field reporter because you get to go around the school and you get to tell people about different like aspects of the school.
I like editor because you get to edit the scripts and correct things that are wrong.
I like the camera operator because you get to switch the backgrounds and watch what the other people are doing.
My favorite has to be the field reporter because you get to go around and meet the new teachers that you've probably never met before.
Teleprompter.
My favorite would be news anchor.
Well, all these different jobs, and one thing, you all get to come together and get to use your talents. That is amazing. Well, thank you so much. You did an amazing job with the pledges. Amazing job, and thank you all so much. Have some exciting things to celebrate tonight. 2023 TXCSS Higher Education Award. Clear Creek ISD is making a big impact in the world of social studies in Texas. Dr. Anita Lewis, come on up, Miss Lewis. We're talking about you. All right, so Miss Lewis is a 6th grade contemporary world cultures teacher at Westbrook Intermediate and has been selected for the Texas Council of the Social Studies 2023 Higher Education Award and was honored at the TXCSS conference last month. This award is given in recognition of active participation in local, state, and national social studies councils and outstanding social studies teaching at the higher education level. So in addition to working at Westbrook in many different areas, Dr. Lewis is a professor of social studies methods in the evening at U of H Clear Lake. And she was also named CCISD Secondary Teacher of the Year in the previous year. So a big round of applause for Dr. Lewis. Thank you. Ms. Cooper's doing her. Congratulations. Okay, we have 2023 Leader in Me Lighthouse Academic Award Honor Roll. So 2 Leader in Me Lighthouse schools in Clear Creek ISD have earned the recognition as a 2023 Leader in Me Lighthouse Academic Honor Roll schools by Franklin Covey Education. This honor is for schools that have both met the rigorous requirements necessary to achieve and maintain Lighthouse School certification and shown exemplary academic growth or proficiency as measured by state accountability standards. Falcon Pass Elementary received the award by performing in the top 15 percentile of like schools in the state, and Armand Bayou Elementary received the award for showing academic growth of 6% from 22 to 23. Will both of these teams and schools please come forward? Yes, they're going to give you lots of accolades. Yeah, we'll come over here. And maybe real quick with all of y'all up here, there's a lot of what goes into achieve. I know it's an academic piece, but talk about maybe the role the students play in all of this.
I really feel like just helping them strive for not perfection, but for progress and that consistency that they need every day to fulfill their potential.
The one with no voice, of course. I think the biggest role for it is putting everything back onto the student to where they are able to analyze what they are doing, where they are, where they've come from, and then also where they want to go. Because once they're able to understand what it means to see their performance and what it takes to be able to grow in life, or just on a single test or on a single paper, really lets them kind of realize that, hey, I can do this, I can do something else, here's my next goal. So then they become very excited.
Thank y'all so much. Amazing. Hey, there's some Pasadena Rodeo Livestock Show champions. We have 3 students. Congratulations to 3 Clear Creek ISD students who walked away as Grand and Reserve champions during the 74th Annual Pasadena Livestock Show and Rodeo. The level of dedication these students have for the livestock industry is unmatched. With the extreme temperatures we faced this summer, some of these students visited the ag facility 3 to 4 times a day to take care of their animals. Their hard work paid off. From Clear Creek High School, Sydney Grice earned Grand Champion Heifer and Grand Champion Showmanship. Come on up, Sydney. From Clear Springs High School, Reagan Ball earned Reserve Champion Lamb. And Sophie Dykes won both Grand Champion Steer Showmanship and Reserve Champion Goat Showmanship. Will the sponsors and principals please come forward for the picture? Okay, now this was a lot of work, right? So tell us, what did you learn through this experience?
Well, the main thing that I've always learned for doing this for the past 4 years is discipline. You have to be very disciplined to continue to take care of your animals even when they're not acting the way that they're supposed to. They don't cooperate very often, so you have to learn patience and dedication and discipline.
I truly learned a lot of life skills, but I've also learned the responsibility of a whole nother being having to depend on me, can't even communicate with me through English. So, so just really having to learn the life skills and having to have that responsibility of another living being is depending on me to eat, feed, get exercise and all that. So it's a lot of time management and a lot of other life skills.
Something I learned is that hard work does pay off because my steer at Pasadena, he stepped on a rock right before we went in the ring, and so he actually was limping in the show ring. So that did hurt me in the show, but all the hard work I put into him, we came out Grand Champion Showmanship, so that partnership helped.
Thank you, teachers, principals, y'all. This is what those extracurricular, all that ag is all about. It's not just raising an animal, it's life skills. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Okay, so Clearbrook High School Marching Band had its best season in the school's history this fall, breaking personal best records, and that's hard to do, at local and statewide contests. At the UIL Regional Marching Contest, they earned straight superior ratings from all judges, advancing to UIL Area Marching Contest. At UIL Area, they ranked 6th in preliminaries, qualifying them for UIL Area Marching Finals, where they placed 3rd overall and earned the opportunity to compete at the UIL State Marching Championship in San Antonio, Texas. And this was not their first trip to San Antonio. Their season was punctuated by their highest state placement ever, as a 24th ranked band at UIL 6A State Marching Championships. Representing Clearbrook High School Band tonight are their band officers, directors, and principal. Greg Goodman, Mary Goldner, are y'all in the house? Come on up. Yes, come on up, team. Right, so how many of you been to state before? Raise your hand. Okay, all right. So you know how to do this. So what's the secret to going to state year after year?
It's I think a big part of that is just the motivation that I think everyone in the band has. You know, we are very competitive as a band. We also just like enjoy the music and enjoy the activity, and like we love what we do. We love the people who are involved. And so I think the biggest part in like being able to make state and be as competitive as we are is just enjoying what we do and just having fun while doing it.
Thank y'all so much. And we look forward to next year's performance. Okay. Thank y'all. Okay, and that concludes our recognitions tonight, and I'll go ahead and introduce our program spotlight, our watchdogs. Tonight's program spotlight is on the progress and success of the Watchdogs program in Clear Creek ISD. DOGS stands for Dads of Great Students, and we have several of them here tonight. So I'll turn it over to y'all. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Engel. We're so excited to shine a bright light on the greatness in Clear Creek ISD. And I am surrounded by a great partnership from our Mustangs right down the road at Lake City Elementary. You know Zan Friedenberg, a principal at Lake City Elementary, and you may not know Mr. Garcia, but I know there's some gentlemen in the back that do know him because they're also part of our Watchdog team. We're so proud of the work that's happening in our schools and the impact that it's making on our students. But it is a program that is a nationally syndicated program or that is highlighting dads of great students and typically dads or father figures. It is in all of our elementary schools, all 27 and 3 of our intermediates. And we are thankful for the positive role models that they show and share in our schools and all that they do. We definitely have some watchdogs that have been with us for many years. And we have a top dog typically designated at each campus. And the top dog is someone who helps coordinate, lead the effort, and keep the communication going. As a matter of fact, the top dogs have quite a group chat that they keep and share ideas on how to continue moving forward. We started this program in some small pockets, but district-wide as part of the 2018 Safety Committee that came forward and as far as enhancing safety measures around our campuses, and we haven't stopped since. I'm super thankful for the work of Eva DeCardenas and the team to also communicate and keep that going each year. It is an important aspect of our safety in schools, and our watchdogs are part of that safety plan. They are signing in and signing up as volunteers. They register as a volunteer through our portal, and they select watchdogs and the functions, and then they are enrolled automatically in a great course of sharing about school safety, and it's become almost an automatic process in which we've reduced the barriers of getting in and getting involved and getting approved. And once they finally receive their approved email, well, that's when the fun begins, right? And every school has their own system of how they're going to be identified, whether that's the T-shirt or the vest, and it's very important that these volunteers are identified on our campus. But significantly, they make an impact on our schools. And I'm thankful to have each share from their perspective, from both a campus principal and top dog to share a little more information.
Hi. So yes, we are extremely blessed to have some great dads and uncles and grandfathers that reach out. One just small little piece, we have a staff picture every year, and I am adamant that all staff members will be in that picture, and we have watchdogs that will come do morning duty to make sure that every staff member's in that picture. But it's really nice to see our watchdogs out front in the mornings at arrival. When some of our little ones get out of the car and not happy about leaving mom or dad or whoever they might be coming to school from that day or missing, and it's neat. It's really touching to see a watchdog take the hand of that child and walk them inside. Security is number one. Actually, it is obvious that just having an extra set of eyes touching those doors just one more time every day to make sure we don't need to put in a work order for one that's not working appropriately. But also playing in the gym, basketball or volleyball with the kids, just getting to know our kids. It's really nice because our kids can look to that person as an extra support or just confidence building, and so it's been a blessing. I had a watchdog on Friday that said, I saw him in the hallway and I said, Mr. Perrell, we're so glad you're here today. He said, well, it's my day off. Where would I be? That's what it's all about.
And truly, they model our core values and all that they
100%.
do, and we're thankful for that. And it starts from the high fives. And some schools have high five Fridays, or some have high fives
Every day.
every day.
Every
But
day.
it is important that they are constantly modeling that and upholding that as they work throughout our schools. And here we go.
So y'all ready for some fun?
Okay.
First of all, thank y'all for the opportunity to be here with you all. First of all, also thank you for implementing this program into all the schools. For one, because I do have a wife who's an educator for CCISD or for League City Elementary. And so I'm thankful for the extra protection for all the watchdogs, even behind me. Definitely kudos to them because they deserve more credit than anything. And also I have a student who attends League City Elementary, and then next year I'll have a new League City Elementary Mustang as well. So first of all, thank you all for implementing that program into the district and then all to the schools as well. But hey, dads love to party, right? So we've implemented a kickoff party for our dads, and that's one way that we love to get involved. The dads get involved with the schools, and we love pizza, and kids love pizza even more, right? So we love to implement games. One way to have a great time is implementing games and also providing food. And other entertainment, photo booths. Who doesn't love taking pictures with the kids? And so, just right now, we're doing a lot of fellowship. Little pun right there, little fella. Us fellas, guys. We love to hang out and just talk and just chat collaboratively. As well too. So, a lot of tools that we like to use to help have that communication with our other top dogs because. Hey, you can have a successful event, but also keeping that communication with all the dads that want to continue to be involved, not just attend an event, but continue serving the school. So one of the ways is, Sign Up Genius, other platforms like, signupunicorn.com. We also have each kickoff, we have a watchdog party. At the party, we have a calendar as well where dads can go in and sign up the day of as well, too. So that's also a good way, Dad's schedules are very different, right? Some of them are, work overnight. But hey, when's your kid's birthday? Can you take a half a day, a full day, to drop off in the mornings? Thank God I have a half day on Fridays, right? So I'm able to be at the school on Friday, half days on Friday, not all day, but half days. And another way, just like all the top dogs behind me, we have a collaborative and support to support each other. What is something you're not doing that I'm not doing? And that's how we can work together collaboratively to provide, support for each other. Because it's not just the League City Elementary Mustangs; it's all CCISD. We want to make sure that all the watchdogs behind us have that same support. Whatever we're doing, maybe they're doing something different, and man, well, I want to implement that into our school. So having the providing network opportunity. We have right now we have a group meet provided for all watchdogs. If you need help. Hey, Lake City Elementary Watchdogs, we supported, I think, over 3 or 4 schools already in the district and just helping with the launch parties. So we're thank you, because we're able to support that, the education to our watchdogs as well. And of course, PTAs. I'm PTA president for Lake City Elementary. This is my second year, so I won't be PTA next year. But, and and also too, truly thank you to our principal too, Zan, because she's a huge supporter. She wants watchdogs when it's an emergency, like, hey, I need people tomorrow, we will get it done. And we've done that in the past, so, also having that support from our principal as well. But then also too, at the end of the year, look at that belt. Who does not want a belt, right? So one thing that we've implemented by points, if you can serve, just a half a day, just drop off half a day, a full day, whatever the points are, it is based off points. But that belt is bragging rights for a whole year. So we will have a top dog watch of the year, and that top dog gets to have that belt all next year, but has to compete for that the following year. So it might not be his next year. Well, I mean, I have it right now, but it's up for grabs. It's not mine, but somebody can have it next year. But the year after that, it's also competitive. So, really, it's another way for engagement for our dads to, hey, man, this is fun. Being with your kids, supporting your school, making sure there's safety on campus. But again, thank you for all that y'all do for our watchdogs and supporting the program. And you have supporters behind me as well.
That's right. We're so thankful for all of your work and all your support for our grandfathers and for our uncles and father figures that are stepping in and stepping up and being in partnership with us for our kids and keeping them safe. We're forever thankful. And we do love our watchdogs, and we have some of our watchdogs here with us, and we also have some amazing watchdogs and campus top dogs to celebrate. We also appreciate every coordinator on the campus. Come on up and join.
That's awesome.
And this is the district.
Oh, this is our newest addition to our watchdog program. This is our new mascot who has just landed in Clear Creek ISD, and we are so thankful to have them as part of the celebration. So we are going to get a picture with all of our top dogs up here. Yes, come on up.
Thank you. Good. Just another disease. Thank you. It's good to see you.
It's nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Don't let Dr. Marquez see that belt. Wrestling fan. That's awesome. Who's that? Is that Brian? Is that Brian?
I do.
He would want to be.
All of our top dogs from Brookwood to Ross to Robinson to Landholz to Gilmore and one more, sir. I think we have Ed White. So we're thankful for them being here this evening. Any questions about top dogs or anything else about our watchdog program?
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Any questions, Mr. Bowen?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment. I mean, looking at the list of top dogs, what impresses me about it is that we have coverage at all the elementary schools. I mean, it's one thing to have a great program at one school, but I think it was kind of a goal for the program to get to all of the schools and make sure they're all served. And so I'm glad it looks like that's been achieved. And I hope we can keep it going.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
So I just want to make a quick comment on my end is not only are y'all there enhancing our security and our campuses, but playing that role, that positive male role model that we need, that these students need in the district. So often the moms are the PTA, although former PTA president, watchdog, all the things. But really having that male role model, a positive male role model on campus is very important. So thank you for stepping up and doing that.
And the application's open for anyone, right, to join.
There you go. You can sign up.
I was actually just going to echo that same thing. Just, thank you for being there not every parent is able to have a flexible enough schedule to be able to participate in things of that nature. And I can remember walking around and people were like, well, your kids are in that room. And I was like, no, these are all my kids. And I would go visit all the rooms. So it's vitally important what you do, and just, you know, being there for the kids. The kids look to you guys. And no offense to the moms, but, you know, the dads, right? That authority and just that positivity, and then seeing you guys take an interest in it will make them take an interest in it. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is we have our spotlight for election.
Yes. So we are excited to share just a real quick spotlight. The Clear Creek ISD district received voter approval for a tax rate election and 2 school bond propositions on November the 7th, 2023. Ms. Benzai, Ms. Paulson, and Mr. Miller are here to give us a brief recap of the events heading up to that, and then our next steps forward.
All right, good evening. So tonight we are going to present you with our unofficial election results, a summary of that. Just over 32,000 citizens voted in our election last week. There were about 20,000 from Harris County and 12,000 in Galveston County out of our approximately 165,000 voters, registered voters in the district. Our early voting turnout slightly exceeded our election day voting. So looking at the summary, 59% of our voters approved Proposition A, which was the approval of an ad valorem tax rate of 97.46 cents per $100 in property value. In effect, that's a 3-cent approval for the 3 golden pennies on our maintenance and operations tax rate. 55% of voters supported Proposition B, which was an approval to issue $265 million in school building bonds for school improvements. And 54% of voters supported Proposition C, which is an approval to issue $37 million in school building bonds for the purchase of technology. Overall, across Texas, it was also a very successful day for many bond elections. About 55% of bond propositions totaling just over $15 billion were approved by voters. As you can see in red, there were 65 propositions that failed in Texas, bond propositions. And when I dug into that a little bit, it's about half of those were athletic improvements or for multi-purpose facilities. Looking at the voter approval tax rate results across Texas, there were a total of 47 tax rate elections approved out of 53 elections held last week. One thing I wanted to mention is that over the years, there's been a steady increase in not only these tax rate elections, but the passage of them. So in 2020, there were only 12 voters held in Texas. In 2021, that rose to 19. Last year, there were 36, and as you can see, this year there were 53. Last year, only 19 of the 36 voters were, or 19 of 36 were unsuccessful. So a little bit about our next steps. Our tax bills we had not printed yet. We were waiting for the results of the tax rate election, and so those were printed last week, and they will start being mailed this week. As you recall, our initial projections in the spring reflected a $17 million deficit for this fiscal year, growing to about $31 million in fiscal year 2025. So approval of this tax rate was really the key to balancing this budget this year. So our focus is now turned onto fiscal year 2025. So over the next several months, we'll concentrate on getting clarity on key budget assumptions that we make every year during the budget process. So first, we're monitoring the state legislature and what outcome may come out of the 4th special session that's now underway that would provide essential funding to Texas school districts. Second, we'll soon be receiving our demographic update that we receive each year that will give us a better picture of our student enrollment and what that will hold, what we can expect with that. And finally, we'll continue to work on our goal of a balanced budget for fiscal year 2025 using the strategic budget teamwork as a guide.
One, as you all know, and so thank you for your support. It took everyone to tell the story, our very complicated story, but I think at the end, everyone in this room played a big hand in the success of this election. I did want to bring back the phone survey results that we did to kind of compare what an informed voter, what their likelihood would be at the ballot. And for the tax rate election, it was spot on as for an informed voter that would vote yes for that. And then scenario one, if you remember, we had 3 different proposals. This was the closest amount to the ultimate one of 302, and that was a 64% of informed voter. And based on the unofficial results, that was at 55.5%. So we should feel very confident that our communication and community engagement plan was successful. This is our 3rd one to go through together, and each time you go through it, it's not easy to do it, and we're just so thankful for the community's support. And our journey was long. It started with our facility advisory committee. We had a lottery of members of the community that wanted to be a part of this process, as well as 2 board-appointed members to the committee. And we had 3 co-chairs in that process, just bringing them along, all the while doing a lot of listening and learning and responding to our community. Over the summertime, we had several community meetings, and we had relatively pretty good attendance of people who wanted to share their feedback. And their feedback we took into account, and I think everyone would agree that the proposals that we brought forward were better because of that feedback. And then we also had the budget sprint team in May when we realized that the legislature was not at that point taking action, and as we stand here tonight has yet to do so in the area of school funding. And so the budget sprint team came forward and strongly recommended that before we made significant cuts to our operating budget to go forward for this tax rate election. And between those 2 efforts of community-led process, we were able to tell our story more so than, and now everybody knows what a VADER is. It's funny because that's now going to be an acronym that we might not have to explain moving forward. Hopefully we won't have to go through that moving forward. But our community engagement plan, we had 135 campus-based meetings. We had 2 staff meetings at the school-based level, as well as a community meeting, parent meeting at each campus. We had 5 district-wide meetings. Many of you attended, and those getting people out to come to those meetings, it was not that well attended. So it gave us a little concern at that time, and so we went ahead and had 2 virtual meetings go to where they are in the comfort of their own homes. We also went to where people were meeting. We went to our chambers of commerce, all 3 of our Rotary clubs. We went to homeowners association meetings, PTA meetings, booster club meetings. We also went to the Bay Area Republican Party luncheon, as well as the Democratic Bay Area meeting. So wherever people were gathered and were interested in learning more about these propositions, we said, we'll be there, and we were. We had a standalone website that still remains active and will remain active to monitor our progress. And so we've had great traffic on this. In fact, we did a text message on one day to remind people to go to the polls, and we saw a 400% increase of web traffic onto our website on that day. And these are our social media posts, just giving you some samples of it. I do want to just take a moment and thank the Office of Communications. They are behind the scenes doing incredible work on behalf of the students and staff in Clear Creek ISD. And I'll turn over to Paul.
Think they'll be able to hear me. Well, as Elena mentioned, this process did start quite a while back. As you may recall, the Facility Advisory Committee made their initial recommendation of $614 million. That was based on approximately $645 million in estimated cost of projects, reduced by our existing savings and interest from prior bonds of about $30.7 million. After the community meetings and the soliciting the input, we did revise a recommendation to remove about $312 million, which is primarily made up of the major renovations of Clear Creek Intermediate, Clear Lake Intermediate, and also the Vision 2030 improvements that we had originally included in the recommendation. So that brought the total that was board recommended to $332.8 million in estimated project costs. When reduced by that savings of $30.8 million, that brought us to the $302 million that we went out for the two propositions. So as Alice mentioned, Proposition B was a priority repairs and infrastructure for $265 million, and then Proposition C was the technology, $37 million. So a little bit of history of where we've been the last recently. So we've got about projects that were recently completed or are in process that totaled about $1.47 million out of bonds 13 and 17 savings and interest, and then through grants, donations, and Victory Lakes TERS funding, the board has approved about $2.3 million. And the Victory Lakes TERS money was used to do the central plant and chillers and all of that work, along with some additional funding from bonds 2013 savings and interest. Recently, also, the board approved bonds 2013 and 17 savings and interest to do Clear Springs, League City, and Space Center intermediate central plant work, along with their chillers, and of course buses, for a total of $14.3 million. And then I think just last month, we approved a reimbursement resolution of $7 million to purchase buses, elementary chillers, so we could get those on order because of lead times, and then some classroom furniture if we ever possible that was retired, we could get some classroom furniture, for a total of $21.2 million. So next steps, we're design and bid the elementary central plant project. That's the 6 campuses that we ordered the chillers for to get the design work to get those installed. So that's Bowerschlag, Pass, Gilmore, Goforth, Robinson, and Weber. The design contract is to be awarded tonight as part of tonight's meeting. We'll finalize the design and receive bids in December of 23. Hopefully those chillers will be here in time to be able to get them installed before the start of school in August of 24. One of Alex and his team will be working on reviewing and finalizing the schedule. As you know, when we estimate these costs, we base on inflation and how much we anticipate having based on when we would think we bid that work. He's going to finalize and review that, and that way we can move forward. We'll need to do an RFQ for necessary consultants, including architects and engineers and materials testing consultants and geotechnical, all the things that support the work that we need to do for the design phases and commissioning. So we expect to award that in January of 24, and Alex is working to get that RFQ on the street. We'll also work with our finance manager to do cash flow requirements over the life of the bond. That allows us to really nail down when we would sell bonds and maximize our availability of funding without issuing debt without needing to spend it. So that really helps our tax rate. And then the last item I wanted to go over is our Citizens Financial Advisory Committee. Alice and I are going to work together to bring in some of our Facility Advisory Committee members into the Citizens Finance Advisory to provide better transparency on going over the status of projects, just to make sure they understand the financials associated with those and the status of work as we go through the program. That is it.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions from the board, comments? Did you have anything? No? Anything? Okay, seeing none, I will simply say thank you. I know that there's a lot of time and energy and additional work that goes into preparing for something like this, especially with the Vader being something that we had not had to do as a district. And so just thank you, Dr. Engel, to cabinet and staff, to folks across the district that did their part to help make sure that voters were aware of the election. How they chose to vote was ultimately up to them, but we're just thankful for all of the time that was spent doing that and continuing to engage the community, providing them opportunities to give input and suggestions, offering critical perspectives of things that we otherwise may have been too close to see, I think is extremely valuable, and I appreciate that that continues to be a standard that we've set as a district in making big decisions before taking something like this out to the community. So thank you all for that. I also would just like to say thank you to the community that took the time to learn about the Vader and about the bonds, to know that this is not something that we do without lots of consideration. And in this environment, it's especially important for us to continue to balance a budget that focuses on student instruction, where 90% of our budget is really focused on salaries. There's really not a lot of wiggle room, and so thank you to everybody who's stepped up and who was supportive for this. Thank you all. Thank you for doing this presentation tonight as well. Okay, and the next item on the agenda is district update. Dr.
So
Engel?
I'll probably recap that just a little bit. As you've heard, the results of the 2023 election solidify what we've always known. This community fully supports the work our teachers and staff do every day. I'm humbled by the percentage of voters who said yes to Clear Creek ISD. They said yes to quality staff, yes to school safety officers, yes to student programs, capital improvements, and instructional technology. They said yes to our school board and trusting them to invest taxpayer dollars responsibly. As you just heard, we have already begun planning and look forward to the work ahead. Well, the governor has called a fourth special session, which we are monitoring closely. The governor's agenda for the new session includes increasing funding for Texas public schools, student safety, and the creation of a voucher program. We will keep you posted. On Saturday, more than 300 parents registered to attend a parent academy where they learn strategies on how to bring out the best in their child, work through power struggles with children, and receive materials and books to take home. I would like to thank cabinet leaders, the Parent Assistance Center, elementary teachers and staff, and the counseling department for their collaborative efforts to help families. I would also like to thank the Bay Area Alliance for Youth and Families for being our presenting sponsor. And as part of our growing interfaith collaborative, dozens of volunteers from Bay Area Church descended on 14 schools on Sunday to help beautify plant beds, laid mulch, and planted shrubs. We are grateful for their time and support. In closing, I would like just to take a minute this evening to thank Dr. Casey O'Pry. This is his last board meeting. All right, this is his last board meeting as Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, a position he has held since 2012. He began his career in CCISD as an elementary assistant principal 23 years ago, and I actually had the privilege of serving alongside him as an elementary assistant principal. And throughout the years, he has always exemplified our CCISD core values: respect, caring, responsibility, trustworthiness. Casey, those describe who you are. That is who you are in your DNA. You're a powerful connector. We talked about this a little bit today, connecting people with their purpose. And as to quote a colleague, Casey breathes life into people. And you're a shining light, an example of a gold star leader for all of us. So you leave a positive legacy for everyone in this room. I can truly tell you, and everyone in our district, and you will be missed. However, we're excited about your next journey in retirement and the possibilities that lie ahead in the next chapter of your life. So congratulations, and we will miss you.
Thank you, Dr. Engel. If anyone on the board would like to say anything, I know Dr. O'Pry would love more attention.
Here we go. Yeah. So, Dr. Pry, I know you're over there. You know, I think that aside from being on the board, I think that there's times in the past that we interacted, and the word caring is what I took away from that. Our interaction outside of school business, everything that I've ever seen you do has been with a huge heart, and that heart is a piece of a puzzle that this cabinet and this district has benefited from you being that piece for so long. We appreciate you. We'll miss you, but we look forward to hearing about your journey. So, thank you.
Anybody else? Casey, I just want to say, when I became a board member, I think when I sat down with you and met with you, I asked you, how can I help? And one of the things you said is, bring me good people or find me good people. And I always took that to heart, and I always took that seriously. You know, just running across friends and neighbors and things like that as you're at cookouts and things, and you're talking to people, and it's like, okay, well, why are you here? Like, you need to work in our district, you know, and vetting them. I know that you're going to enjoy yourself. I knew when we started seeing, you know, people retire and just knowing your story, I knew that it wasn't long before you were going to do the same thing too, because you hide your age very well. But you know, I look forward, and I know for me that I'm still going to see you, because I've seen you over the past couple weekends on the seawall, whether it was running or when I was down there for the rally. I saw you riding your beach cruiser, and I honked at you, but you were probably thinking, all these bikers, get off my island. But so I know I'm going to see you. I plan on visiting you, but I'm very excited for you, and I know that we're going to keep in touch. But congratulations to you, and thank you for what you did for CCISD.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Dr. Pry, I'll also just echo thanks. I think during the time that I've served on the board, the number of instances where I've heard of decisions and recommendations that are made about one of the most critical resources that we have in this district. And when you spend 90% of your budget on people, it's critical to know that the people that we're bringing have the same commitment and passion for public education. And so for that being the time that I knew you, and imagining what your experiences were like before you moved into this role, and just knowing the types of people that are drawn to public education, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the board. Thank you for the time and commitment that you spent to make the best decisions at every moment that you possibly could. And thank you for just the true dedication of what it takes to be in the kind of role that you've been in. I would share just a piece of advice that you might not want to talk to Dr. Engel about retirement. She's probably, I know you know people extremely well, but just in case, yes, she's the superintendent, but you might not want to talk to her about that, because you just never know what could happen. But whatever your plans entail, even if it is coming back at some point, we just hope that you have a wonderful retirement, and just wish you all the best. So thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Dr. Engel. The next item on the agenda is community input. The purpose of community input is for the entire board to receive feedback from citizens. The board will hear the public comments but will not respond, except as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, to respond to an inquiry by a member of the public or by a board member with a statement of specific factual information, recitation of existing policy, or to deliberate a proposal to place a subject on the agenda for a subsequent meeting. Matters brought forth that require a response will be addressed by the superintendent as appropriate. All information received is subject to verification. Community input is scheduled for 30 minutes and has two forums. Those requesting to address the board in advance of the meeting are granted 3 minutes to address their topic, and those who sign up this evening prior to 6:30 are granted 1 minute. In a district our size, there will certainly be issues or topics which will understandably generate considerable interest from the public. It is important that members of our community be able to address the school board respectfully, without disruption, and without fear of intimidation from other attendees. On behalf of the board, the superintendent, and CCISD staff, we welcome your input during CCISD school board meetings. We request that everyone exhibit the respect and understanding each person rightfully deserves when addressing the school board during the public input portion of the meeting. And this evening, the first person is John Cobaruvius.
This was such a positive meeting. I hate to bring this up and bring this to your attention. This is very uncomfortable for me. Last time I was here, I talked about the donations by a PAC called Defend Texas Liberty into CCISD elections. To recap, this PAC is funded by 2 Texas billionaires. They donated $2,000 Trustees Bowen's campaign, $5,000 to candidate Lozon, and $5,000 to candidate Glencora Rogers. She returned the donation. Out of over 1,200 school districts in Texas, this PAC meddled in only one, that being CCISD. Last month, the Texas Tribune reported that the leader of this PAC, former state representative Jonathan Strickland, met with a known white supremacist, Nick Fuentes, for over 7 hours. Fuentes is well known for praising Hitler. His racist views on immigration called for a holy war against Jews. He compared the 6 million Jews killed by the Nazis to cookies being baked in an oven. This is a truly nasty human being. Strickland has since been removed, and Speaker of the House, Dave Phelan, has called for all elected officials to return their donations and denounce this PAC. Unfortunately, it gets worse. According to the Tribune, the PAC has met with many other white supremacist and racist organizations. 2 of these organizations identified in their report are True Texas Project and Texans for Strong Borders, based right here in El Lago. The directors of Texans for Strong Borders are Chris Russo and Carrie Cheshire. Russo was seen chauffeuring Fuentes to and from the meeting with the PAC. Russo was outed by the Texas Tribune as an anonymous internet individual, aligning himself with Fuentes and his views. Carrie Cheshire was also on the meeting with Fuentes. And again, I'm so uncomfortable bringing this to your attention. And here's the worst part in the connection with CCISD. Both Russo and Cheshire graduated from Texas A&M and were on the Student Senate serving with Trustee Bowen. There is clearly a very troubling relationship with the three in Defend Texas Liberty, and it should be disturbing that this PAC and these individuals were invited into our district to meddle in our school elections. I agree with the speaker. Donations to these PACs should be returned, and every elected official must stand up and denounce this Defend Texas Liberty PAC. These people should never be allowed in this district again, and anybody associated with them should stand up and condemn them. Thank you. And again, I'm very sorry for bringing this up.
Thank you. Next speaker is David Hirsch, Claire Mulhern, and Sophia Merchant.
Good evening, Superintendent Engel, President Sanchez, members of the board, members of the community. My name is David Hirsch, and I'm here in the role of a mentor to the Westbrook Intermediate Robotics team. As you may know, Best Robotics is the competition that they compete in, and it's unique in several ways. One, they only provide the students with a brain, motors, bits and pieces, circuits, plywood, and PVC. And from that, they have to engineer and fabricate a robot. The mentors are there only to teach them and to ensure that they're safe. The students do all the work. Part of their effort, and when they compete, is a marketing presentation. And part of that rubric requires them to do community engagement. In that presentation, they explain that their fictitious robotics company is owned by the school district. So I challenge them, why don't we go and engage your biggest investor,
and provide them some update and give them a sense of their return on investment. So this evening, I'm honored to introduce two of the team leaders, Sophia Merchant and Claire Mulhern. One, I think you should look and say that one's going to be the future chief engineer of robotics at NASA, and the other one, sir, might be the director of public affairs at JSC. So with that being said, Claire.
Hello, I am Claire Mulhern, the Systems Integration Lead for the Westbrook Intermediate Robotics Engineering Division. I am responsible for making all the robot subsystems work together smoothly to have a well-functioning robot. Our team's legacy was founded on lessons learned from the previous successes, and even more so from the failures. In fact, the first 10 or so years, we did not bring home any award or advance to state. Recently, Wired advanced to Texas Best 13 out of the past 15 years, winning first place in our division 2 years ago, and even outperforming high school competitors. In addition to lots of hard work, our success is due to the help from teachers, volunteer mentors, and parents who dedicate their time and support, and of course the support from CCISD. Now I'd like to invite my fellow team lead, Sophia Merchant, to come up.
Thank you, Claire. My name is Sophia Merchant, and I am the team marketing lead. Our team culture is dedicated to engineering precision, ingenuity, safety, teamwork, community engagement, while leveraging the diversity of our team members. I'm proud to share that Wired recently received first place at this year's North Houston Best competition. We are again returning to Texas Best at the end of this month. On behalf of the Westbrook Intermediate Robotics Engineering Division team, I invite you to see your investment in action at the Texas Best competition in Dallas. Thank you for your support of robotics as we continue to build on the district's reputation for excellence.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Thomas Davis.
I want to open by saying thank you to the board and the administration for all you do to support parental authority, teacher pedagogy, and student engagement. The Watchdog program is an excellent example of reinforcing parental authority. This is the closing section, part 3 of 3, of the open letter to a school board anywhere, really everywhere, from a concerned parent of a gender-confused child from another district. Risk management is basically the theme here. Wondering if you are gay is vastly different than wondering if you are born in the wrong body. One allows you to completely retain a healthy physical body. The other tries to convince you that you were born wrong and need harmful body modifications via drugs and surgeries. Does that seem like a healthy idea? Who benefits most in this scenario? Whistleblowers are speaking out. Why are you not doing your due diligence? It's a nationwide letter, so I'm not pointing a finger at you guys. You know, back when I was growing up, teachers did not share many aspects of their personal lives with their students. We rarely knew what teachers' relationship status was outside of school. They didn't have personal photos hanging around their room. The focus was on educating us and keeping us physically safe. So I find it quite peculiar that teachers would be discussing or proclaiming their personal sexual interests and proclivities. And likewise, if a student has a conversation with a trusted adult at school that crosses over curriculum boundaries, topic boundaries, and into an area of concern, a caring and ethical teacher's first course of action should be to facilitate a conversation with parents in a timely fashion. The bottom line is, parents know and love their child best, and that should be the presumptive default position for any school employee. We have always told children that if an adult asks you to keep a secret from your parents, that adult is suspect. So it also stands to reason that any teacher or adult keeping a secret from parents is suspect. Best practice is full transparency. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir when I'm talking to the board and the administration, but there's a nationwide trend towards transgenderism that goes beyond the bounds of Senate Bill 14. The real risk is what happens when our students turn 18 and Senate Bill 14 no longer applies. Depending on what they've learned up to that point in their lives, they may make bad decisions that can't be reversed. Thank you so much for letting me finish this letter over 3 sessions.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Karen Cunningham. Karen Cunningham. Okay. We'll move on to the next agenda item, action on closed session items. Entertain a motion for item A.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the sale of 3.172 acre right-of-way to the city of League City.
Thank you, Mr. McKay. Any questions or comments? I'm seeing none. All those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. Thank you, and it passes unanimous. Item B. I'll entertain a motion for item B.
Mr. President.
Battery, but I'll, oh,
Go.
you want to do it?
I'm just going to read it from the agenda.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Mr. Cottrell.
I move that we approve the resolution authorizing the sale of surplus real property, approximately 11.8 acres, known as 1202 Highway 3, League City, Galveston County, Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Cottrell. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, entertain a vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It passes unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Are there any items the trustees would like to pull? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Cunningham?
I move that the board approves the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. It passes unanimous. Thank you. Next item is information and discussion. And it is item A, intruder detection and audit report findings.
Good evening.
Hello.
So we were fortunate to have a discussion about TEA and their intruder audit detections, which they've taken the role over of Texas School Safety Center. They have a regional safety center now. We continue to manage our properties in a very safe and following procedures and very strategic and intentional way. Our campuses continue to put safety at the forefront, whether it is intruders, whether it's visitor management, or whether it's procedures in place. TEA now has taken over the role, and their feedback to us, as was similar with Texas School Safety Center, has been we are performing at a very reputable level, and without saying other districts, we should be proud of the way we are performing with regards to safety.
Thank you, Mr. Pelosi. Any comments or questions from the board? Mr. Cottrell?
I'll just make this comment. You know, it's great to know that you're taking everything so seriously that goes on with all of our students and staff and all the lives, you know, at stake. And, you know, every time is an opportunity to learn something, to do better, and to, you know, keep raising the bar. And we can let our parents and families and everyone know that, you know, we'll continue to keep safety at the highest priority in the district. So thank you for all you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
you, Mr. Cottrell. Any other comments?
I was just going to echo something that Trustee Cottrell and Trustee Bowen had mentioned earlier. You know, thank you for not only going through, you know, the report findings with the campuses, but then also making sure that that information is disseminated amongst the other campuses. So, you know, maybe some best practices can be shared. I know that that's something, we like that fidelity and that ability that, you know, what one campus is doing, hopefully other campuses can maybe replicate that. And, you know, Trustee Bowen said it as well, even some of the minor things, just making sure that we shore those up is important, that we don't let those things slide. But, you know, with that being said, we're still doing a fantastic job, and I'm comfortable, whether it's attending Springs, you know, Homecoming Carnival, or any event on one of our campuses that, you know, our staff, our SLOs, you know, have the utmost in mind of keeping our students and staff safe. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Thank you, Mr. Palazzi. We appreciate the update and
Thank you.
appreciate your continued focus on safety. And with no further items on tonight's agenda, I'll adjourn us at 8:16.
Who said 8:08? Somebody said 8:15.
Was it you?